What assurances can you provide to this committee and to the CIA workforce that you will resist efforts to fire or force out career CIA employees because of their perceived political views or somehow their views of loyalty to the president?
Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Ratcliffe, thank you for your opening comments. I appreciate your comments about technology. I appreciate your comments about independence of the workforce. I appreciate actually the chairman asking this as well. I want to come back to a couple of these topics because there is concern in the community. I hear it. You may have heard it. When we hear statements by incoming administration officials, and occasionally even from the president-elect himself, attacking the intelligence community and threatening to replace long-term career civil servants if they are somehow deemed as not sufficiently loyal. You've addressed this, but I want to address it again right now. What assurances can you provide to this committee and to the CIA workforce that you will resist efforts to fire or force out career CIA employees because of their perceived political views or somehow their views of loyalty to the president?
Well, I think the best example of that, Mr. Vice Chairman, is if you look at my record and my record as DNI, that never took place. That is never something anyone has alleged, and it's something that I would never do. So I would approach this position very much the same way and provide the same assurance.
Again, I think there has been, a lot has happened in the last 4 years since your prior service. There have been these comments. I would again, if you are asked to remove personnel, to get rid of individuals based upon this kind of political litmus test, I'd ask that you keep the committee informed of those requests.
I certainly will.
Same thing, and again, I appreciate the chairman raising this as well. Most important job for you, for the folks at the CIA, speaking truth to power. And I want to again reiterate the question Senator Cotton raised. You've got to make sure that your analysis is objective, it's not politically influenced. We've got to make sure it's timely. This willingness to speak truth to power, even if it's uncomfortable, I would like you to speak to that again.
Vice Chairman Warner, I appreciated the opportunity for you and I to visit, and as you recall, this issue came up, and I was grateful then, and we'll take this opportunity to talk about what my record is in terms of speaking truth to power. If you recall, we talked about the fact that as a member of Congress, I was the individual who was outside the Judiciary Committee in 2019 listening to the former FBI Director Jim Comey say that my line of questioning was political, that the idea that intelligence authorities at the FISA court being abused couldn't possibly happen, was a bunch of nonsense. But I had reviewed those applications, and I knew that I was speaking truth to power, and the Inspector General and the subsequent FBI director later confirmed that under oath. To that point, Director Wray this week in his exit interview said that China was the defining threat of our generation. I wrote that and said that 4 years ago as DNI, and when I did, I was accused of being political, but I wasn't. I was speaking truth to power. I wasn't outsizing the threat from China. In 2020, when a chairman of an intelligence committee misrepresented that a laptop owned by then candidate Biden's son was somehow a Russian intelligence operation, and 51 former intelligence officials used the imprimatur of IC authority to go along with that, I stood in the breach. I stood alone and told the American people the truth about that. So I think my record in terms of speaking truth to power and defending the intelligence community and its good work is very clear. And what I can assure you is those types of instances, if I'm in that position as CIA director and have to do that again, as uncomfortable as that can be, to be accused, you know, the truth will ultimately defend itself, and I think that, that intelligence will as well.
And the truth will defend itself even if that truth is counter to the views of a current administration. It will, at the end of the day, it has to be back to the truth. I've got time for one last question. As you well know, our intelligence community is the best in the world, but we also receive enormous amounts of benefit from our partners around the world. We've got to make sure, and obviously the president has the right to declassify information, but we've seen that willingness to declassify in advance of the Putin's brutal attack on Ukraine used effectively. But as we think about that declassification, particularly if it's done below the presidential level, making sure we consider the sources and methods of our allies, there's no requirement that intelligence is shared. It is based on a trust relationship. I'd like you to briefly speak to making sure that we maintain that trust relationship with the very valuable information we see from our allies and partners around the world.
Well, I agree completely. As DNI, I was able to experience what you just said. We do have the best intelligence enterprise in the world, but we have great partners around the world that we work with to do great things to improve not just our national security posture, but theirs. And that is reliant upon mutual trust and respect for intelligence sharing between intelligence agencies. And as CIA director, if confirmed, I'll understand that improving our national security posture and protecting the American people will be absolutely dependent upon maintaining those relationships and maintaining that trust.
Thanks, Jim.